Happy day, air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Welcome to your weekly reading for the week of July 9th through July 15th. I am very grateful to you for being here with me and for making yourself available to listen and receive what it is that Spirit may have for you to receive this week. I hope that wherever you are doing well and that things are what I hear is that I hope you're feeling a little bit more grounded this week, okay? And if not, it's going to be very important for you, air signs, as you're moving into this next week to find ways to ground yourself, okay? As I was shuffling your cards, I was hearing the phrase tread lightly, okay? Tread lightly. That's like a warning for you as you're moving throughout this week. Tread lightly, okay? So really just pay attention to the interactions that you have, pay attention to the conversations that you have. And when I say pay attention to yourself within these interactions. Pay attention to yourself within these conversations. Pay attention to yourself within these conversations, okay? Don't put so much of your focus and attention on other people and what they're doing and what they're saying and what they have going on. Really pay attention to yourself, okay? That's what there's this warning for you as you're moving into this next week, to really tread lightly, to pay attention to how you are contributing to the conversation, to situations, to the interactions, okay? Are you interacting and coming from a grounded and centered space, or are you reacting? Okay, so there's this warning as you're stepping into this new week to tread lightly. So take that how you will. It may correlate, it may, go along with what the reading has, but I just know as I was shuffling the cards that was coming through, and so I had to share that with you first before we get into seeing what cards we have here for you this week. Okay, so tread lightly, just pay attention to your response, okay? Because you can't control somebody else's response. You can't control how other people react, but you can and you do have control over your reactions, over your responses. So tread lightly, and not for the other person, but for yourself, right? Because we're all evolving, we're all growing, we're all transcending, okay? And so you want to make sure that your responses, your reactions, the way that you interact is in alignment with who you're being called to be. All right, so tread lightly, just pay attention, just observe, right? Just observe and be the witness rather than being the one who is in the experience, okay? You'll learn a little bit more if you allow yourself to be the observer and the witness rather than over-identifying with the one that the experience is happening to. All right. I love you guys. I love the air signs. You're some of my favorite people. And the oracle card that we have here for you is the Truth card. The Truth card. All right, so we're looking at insight. We're looking at wisdom. Okay, so as you're moving throughout this week, what you could be stepping into, what I'm hearing, air signs, is that you could be receiving some insights and some downloads, okay? And so you really want to make sure that you're being available and that you're being open to God, to Spirit, to God this week, that you're really just being open and available. Again, this is probably why you need to tread lightly, right? Because when you're allowing yourself to become over-identified with your personality, okay, and with your ego, then you tend to get in the way of receiving these insights and downloads, which are being made available to you so that you can shift in the way that you're being asked to shift, okay? But if we are distracted, if we're overreacting, if we are neglecting to tread lightly, then we become distracted and we're not really able to receive the wisdom the divine knowledge, the insights that are pouring in. And that's just what I see. I see your, I'm hearing psychic abilities, okay? But I'm seeing this aspect of yourself open up, okay? This aspect of yourself that you really haven't had a great relationship with, or maybe you haven't even really had a relationship with your psychic self, okay? And by psychic self, I just mean your intuitive self, right? The part of you that is able to read energy, the part of you that is able to read energy and read into what is going on around you, right? Because everything is energy, all right? And energy speaks to us, and the energy, if we are able to read and understand the energy and how it is speaking to us, then we are able to lead a much more authentic, peaceful life, all right? And so okay, so yeah, now I understand why tread lightly was coming through, because it is a part of the reading. So part of the reason why you're being asked to tread lightly, okay, is because this psychic energy is opening up to you, right? This I don't even know if the word that I want to say is psychic, but yeah, okay, yeah, the psychic aspect of yourself, right? For lack of a better term, is that aspect of yourself is opening up, okay? You're beginning to step into you're grounding into that aspect of yourself. And so it's important that you tread lightly. And the tread lightly has everything to do with you allowing your intuitive self to guide you rather than your feelings, your emotions, and your ego. Okay, so the readings this week have been focusing on, there's been a theme for the readings this week. Okay, yours is the last one that I'm recording, and so the theme this week has had everything to do with remembering your voice. Okay, so you're being called to remember your voice. So for you, air signs, which I think is just so beautiful, that everything that I've said prior to this moment, you remembering your voice is you remembering your first voice, okay? Because your thoughts and your feelings, that's secondary. But your psychic self, your intuitive self, this inner voice, that is your first voice. And that's what God is calling you to remember. God is calling you to remember your first voice, okay? That voice, that little voice that we tend to ignore because we aren't used to listening to that voice, because we weren't taught how to cultivate a relationship with that voice or how to put that voice first. God is calling you to remember your intuitive voice, to remember your first voice, okay? To step outside, you, air signs, are being asked to step outside of your logical self and so that you can step into your eternal self, so that you can step into and ground into this God energy that you possess, that lives within you, okay? Which I think it's absolutely beautiful. So if right now, air signs, you are experiencing a little bit of mental and emotional turmoil, don't attribute that mental and emotional turmoil to what is going on in your external life. That mental and emotional turmoil for you, air signs, has nothing to do with external circumstances, okay? Your ego would like you to believe that, oh, I'm feeling this way because this is what's happening in my life. But that's not the truth. The reason why you're experiencing this mental and emotional turmoil is because you are being called, okay? You are being called to transcend. You are being called to evolve. You are being called to shift, okay? And so that's important for you to hear, okay? If you have been in the space of attributing this mental and emotional turmoil, and even energetic unrest, if you've been attributing that to the external circumstances that have been unfolding in your life, Spirit is asking you to stop, because it has nothing to do with anything in the external world, right? The battle is not against flesh and blood. The battle is not against flesh and blood, all right? Spirit needs you to hear that. first card we have is the Death card. Okay, the first card we have here for you is the Death card. So transformation, change and transformation. What was I just saying? What was I just saying? The reason why you're experiencing this overwhelm is because you're being called to transform. Okay, the reason why things are unfolding in your life in the way that they are right now is because you are being invited into the cocoon. All right, you're being invited to take a step into the cocoon. The caterpillar has to die in order to become the butterfly, and the caterpillar doesn't even die, it just transforms, right? And so the Death card is speaking to that process for you. Okay, so Spirit wants you to choose a new perspective whenever it comes to how you look at what is going on in your life. Again, your intuitive voice is guiding you, is speaking to you, but when you are neglecting to remember to put your intuitive voice first, everything just appears to be chaotic and confusing. But when you listen, when you remember your voice, when you tune into that intuitive voice, there really is no confusion. There really is no confusion. And what happens is you listen to that intuitive voice and you end up surrendering, okay? You end up surrendering to this process of transformation, right? It feels like death. You may even be grieving, okay? But Spirit wants you to hear that it's not about grieving. It's not about grieving what you're losing, okay? What you are actually grieving is the old versions of yourself that were tied to or attached to what you've been asked to let go of. Okay, so the Death card is inviting you into the cocoon. And so with the Death card also, you're faced with a choice. Okay, so your Spirit is asking you, are you going to willingly step into the cocoon? Because this is the space that you're being invited into. So are you going to willingly step into the cocoon? So you have a choice to make. Okay, so this week, you have a choice to make. And then we have the Four of Swords. And then we have the Four of Swords, which is, wow, yeah. The Four of Swords, contemplation. That's what happens whenever you go into the cocoon. Whenever you step into the cocoon, you're able to contemplate. You're able to contemplate, you're able to reflect. Once I transform into the butterfly and I break through the cocoon, what do I want to leave behind? What am I being asked to leave behind? Again, this is why reconnecting to your psychic self, to your intuitive self is important. That's why we had to have that conversation at the beginning, because when you step into the cocoon, Four of Swords, this is a moment of contemplation for you. This is a moment of really taking a step back for you, air signs, and spending some time alone. Okay? So that you can reflect, so that you can contemplate, so that you can have these conversations with yourself, so that you can reflect upon what it is that when you step into the cocoon, you can know, okay, this is what I'm being asked to leave behind. These are the mindsets, these are the perspectives, these are the beliefs that I'm being asked to transform, that I'm being asked to transmute, that I'm being asked to transcend. Because when you go through the process of being in the cocoon and you break through and you're now the butterfly, those old perspectives, mindsets, narratives, stories, all of that can't come with you. So the Four of Swords is asking you to reflect. It's asking you to have open and honest conversations with yourself. And the open and honest conversations start with your willingness to surrender to your intuitive self. Okay, so again, Four of Swords inviting you to take a step back and just look at it. Just look at the image on the card. Okay? You can tell that he's in this space of contemplation. All right? And a part of the contemplating too is this new foundation wanting to be established through you, which some of your earlier readings a couple of months ago had everything to do with God wanting to establish a new foundation through you, and that's coming back up here, okay? That's coming back up here with the Four of Swords. God wanting to bring you into this space of stability, mind, body, and spirit, experiencing stability in your mind, body, and spirit. Okay, but first you need to contemplate, what am I carrying? What burdens am I carrying? You need to identify what they are so that whenever you step into that cocoon, you know without a shadow of a doubt what it is that you're leaving behind. And you will also be able to identify the new truths that you're being invited to ground into. And then we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. All right, with the Knight of Swords, it's going to be a journey. Don't look, oh, this is so important, what I'm hearing, okay? This is why it's, ooh, air signs. This is why it's so important for you to remember your first voice, because the process of death, the process of going into the cocoon is not an easy process, okay? And your ego, the old thought patterns, they will want to come in and they will want to take over, okay? While you're going on this journey with yourself to come back home to yourself, the old thought patterns, the old narratives, the old belief systems, they will want to take over. Again, tread lightly. Tread lightly as you're stepping into this week, and even as you're stepping into the next few weeks, tread lightly. Why? So that you can be aware of when those old reactive, so that you can be aware of when those old stories, narratives, thoughts, perspectives are trying to take back over. Because what was I also saying at the beginning? That it would be important for you to find new ways to ground yourself this week, okay? Because as you're walking this journey, the mind, okay, we have the swords here, so that's everything to do with communication, our thoughts, our logical mind, how we speak to ourselves, how we speak to others, how we speak about our lives, are you speaking life and death, you know? So as you're walking this journey, your mind needs to be grounded. Okay, air signs, your mind needs to be grounded. You don't want to give so much control over to your mind. What you want to do is you want to ground your mind. You want to find new ways to ground this energy. Okay, that's going to be very important as you're moving throughout this week, as you're moving throughout the next few weeks, okay? But know that on the other side of this journey, there's triumph and there's victory. You're making it out, right? You're stepping into the cocoon and you are making it out as the butterfly. You are making it out as the butterfly. So take on that perspective as you're stepping into this week, as you're in the space that you're in. Adopt the perspective that I am the butterfly. Yes, I have to go through the process of being the caterpillar and stepping into the cocoon and leaving behind what it is I need to leave behind, but allow yourself to see yourself as the butterfly, because that is what you are. Okay, Gemini, your clarifying card is the Judgment card. Your clarifying card is the Judgment card, and I will say that this card has shown up 3 times out of the 4 readings, and I hardly ever see the Judgment card. I hardly ever see the Judgment card. Gemini, what I'm hearing for you is whenever it comes to treading lightly and remembering your voice, it's important for you to remember that everybody is a child of God, is what I'm hearing. It's important for you to remember that everyone is a child of God. So when you look at someone, pay attention, Gemini, to the lens through which you are looking at people through. Okay? Because that will give you insight into the lens that you are looking at yourself through, as within, so without. Okay? And so, are you looking at people through the lens of judgment, or are you seeing people for who they are, really are at the core? Okay? For who they are, because everybody is a child of God. You are a child of God, Gemini. Are you seeing yourself as that? Are you regarding yourself as a child of God, as a child of the divine? If not, you're being asked to remember your first voice, right? Your ego has certain definitions that it places on you, but your first voice, when we're talking about remembering your first voice, what does that intuitive voice say about you? What does that God voice say about you? That will help you to let go of the self-judgment, Gemini. Aquarius, your clarifying card is the Magician. Your clarifying card is the Magician, Aquarius. Your clarifying card is the Magician. Okay, Aquarius, you have the ability to be all things, but you are limiting yourself. You are limiting yourself. And this has come up for you before, Aquarius. You have the ability to be all things into yourself. Lover, friend, enemy, hero. Okay, Aquarius, but are you putting yourself in that position? Are you allowing yourself to step into that role of I am all things unto myself? That could be an affirmation that you work with this week, Aquarius. I am all things unto myself. I am all things unto myself, because the Magician, if you notice, pardon, if you notice, the Magician has all the tools in its hand. The cups, the wands, the swords. The cups, the wands, the swords. What am I just forgot. The coins. Okay, all of it. The Magician has all of it in its hand. So, remembering your first voice, that working with that affirmation, Aquarius, is how you will remember your first voice. I am all things unto myself. Okay, that will help you get back into remembering who you are and reestablishing this relationship with your first voice, your intuitive voice. Okay. And then Libra, we have the Page of Coins for you. We have the Page of Coins for you. So Libra, for you, whenever it comes to remembering your voice, the Page of Coins is asking you to step back into, man, it's not even about inner child work. It's not even about doing inner child work for you, Libra. It's really just all about reconnecting with this childlike energy and innocence, okay? Really grounding into that energy and allowing that energy to help, allowing yourself to ground back into that energy so that you can remember what was really important to you. Because I can hear, Libra, that there's this disconnect from your value. Like, do you really know what it is that you value from a heart-centered space? Okay, so whenever it comes to you remembering your voice, Libra, there's this message for you to allow your intuitive voice to help you reconnect with what it is that you value. And if you aren't aware of what it is that you truly value, then this process of stepping into the cocoon is where you'll be reminded, is where you'll be shown what it is that you value. So then whenever you come out as the butterfly, it's like you're going to create this whole new world for yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, physically. Okay, because now you know what your values are. Now you can create this new foundation for yourself. Okay, so for you, yeah, because as a child, even though we don't speak about our values, even though as children we don't really have the language to say this is what I value, or we still have core values as children, right? They're innate. And so your intuitive voice wants to show you what those are. Your intuitive voice wants to help you ground into your values, and wants to show you what they are, so that you can establish it again, so that you can establish this new foundation, so that you can create this new world for yourself. Okay, a new world in which you'll feel more abundant in all aspects of your life, again, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, physically, a new world in which you'll feel more secure, more stable within yourself, as within, so without. Okay, so that's beautiful for you, Libra. If you will surrender, if you will surrender to the process of going into the cocoon, if you will tread lightly, stop taking things personal, okay? All of you air signs, stop taking things personal and just tread lightly, because the process is processing and you just need to trust it. All right, air signs, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for receiving these words. Thank you for doing the work, because as you do the work and as you are changing and transforming your own life, the world is shifting and changing. Okay, you are having a direct effect on the energy in the world shifting, okay, and transforming just by doing the work in your own personal life. So thank you. Okay, if you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, make sure you leave them in the comments section. If you would like to receive a more personalized weekly reading, then you can use the link in the description box to book an appointment. If you would like to join me for the weekly meditation that I host, which is a group session that I host every Thursday evening, you can also use the link in the description box for that. If you would like to just support the work that I do, you can send over a donation. It is greatly appreciated. I love you all so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.